That's right. It's time for the Dog and Chicken Show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Episode 21. Hopefully,
look at you remembering the number.
I know. Look at me go. I got skills. I can count sometimes.
Yeah, well, we both went to the same high school.
You just gave away everything right there. Like everybody's like, oh, it all makes sense now.
Yeah, sorry. No, spoiler alert. My bad. Go back. Start over.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 22. Oh, shit.
See.
Anyway, we got a good one for you tonight, folks. This is, we're going to be talking about, it's kind of a conspiracy, kind of a mystery, kind of a, don't know if it really happened, but there's real people. There are some facts, but there's a lot of crazy involved with it too. I'm sure we could easily just jump in and start shitting on stuff, but we could talk about what people actually like to hear and bring it back full circle and how it relates to today. So
now we like to speculate and then shit on it because that's what we do.
I just like to shit on stuff. So Tony, you want to introduce it, and then I can kind of go through some of the story and the background of this.
Yeah, so the topic tonight is the Philadelphia Project, and essentially Cliff Notes of this is very simple. It boils down to, in Philadelphia, the USS,
Eldridge.
Eldridge, thank you. USS Eldridge was the subject of a naval government test, and basically what the test was supposed to be was cloaking or transportation or a combination of both. It had a small crew on said ship, and what happened was this ship teleported, disappeared, and from that day, a lot of different stories came out, a lot of old wives' tales, a lot of urban legends, a lot of weird stuff, and I'm finding out from Chicken here, a lot of rabbit holes. So it's one of those conspiracy theories that unfortunately there's not a lot of valid first-hand accounts, like concrete, like from what I've seen. Like there's not a lot of great retellings of it on film or through writing that aren't I don't know about that one. So I'm excited to hear what we have for evidence, because the story is fascinating in itself as far as conspiracy theories go, but the rabbit holes that he's telling me about, I'm really excited to hear about.
Yeah, so to properly tell this story, we got to go back, and we're going to put ourselves in the setting. I believe we're going to want to go back to about 1942.
I thought it was 43.
Yep. Hold on there, fella.
I think it's 43.
It is 43, but it goes back a little bit farther with the opening of a specific place called Camp Hero. So Camp Hero right now, if you were to look it up, it's called Camp Hero State Park. But originally, so think of 1942, height of World War II. We are in fear of another Pearl Harbor hitting the East Coast. So What we do outside of New York is we set up a kind of camouflage military base. And I'm trying to remember what they tried to set it up as, but it was supposed to just look like some kind of farm or whatever. But it was actually had multiple guns there and big, huge radar system in order to detect anybody trying to invade the United States on that East Coast, especially coming into New York. Valid thought, right? After Pearl Harbor, World War II. So smart move.
Well, right there, I think that's what adds validity to how these urban legends start, because think of the time frame and think of the response to wartime situations. You always want to get a step ahead of your enemy, and what better way to do that than try to figure out teleportation and cloaking?
Yeah. So they commissioned this place in 1942, and supposedly They wanted to start working on some experimental stuff. So U-boats, if you're not familiar with U-boats, was the German, it was kind of like a submarine deal, but they were very maneuverable and were able to take down our biggest battleships and destroyers very easily because, first off, our battleships were really fast, but they couldn't turn. And they couldn't maneuver, nothing like a U-boat could. So we were losing ships in droves. So they were experimenting with technology on these mid-class ships that were kind of like a destroyer, but not as fast, or kind of like a battleship, but not as fast, and could maneuver better. But they wanted them to be invisible, as Tony alluded to, and how they were going to do this was kind of cloaking them in a way. So they were experimenting with magnetism to avoid them being shown on radar. Now, here's where it goes crazy. Supposedly, around October 28, 1943, they claim that they were able to take the destroyer escort USS Eldridge, was the name of the ship, and actually teleport it to another location and return it to the same location. So that sounds crazy and majestic in its own matter, but then they're saying that there were crew members actually on the ship during the experiment, and that's when shit gets crazy. As I don't know, I can imagine this if I were on a ship that got teleported somewhere and then returned back. Like, I don't know, I'm a Star Trek fan, and I just imagine, I'd have an arm stuck in a fucking wall or something. And that's what supposedly happened to this USS Eldridge.
Right. Yeah. So the weirdest claim about what happened to him is obviously that some of the crew members were fused into the metal of the ship during this teleportation process. Yeah, there's some glorification reenactments, obviously, but yeah, I feel like, why don't we have any photographic evidence of this, or any evidence of this? But wow, what an idea, what a story. I mean, it sounds insane, but like, if they somehow did find a black hole or a portal to transport them, you would assume that, yeah, they probably don't have the science down perfect. Maybe there were some complications. But also what along with that was some of them supposedly went instantaneously insane upon getting off the ship. Some had, trauma, PTSD. Some were just never seen again. They maybe just got lost in the void during the teleportation. And I think somebody supposedly with his family walked into a wall and was never heard from again. But again, these are all, stories.
Yeah, lots of stories. So we'll jump into a couple of those stories. So first, let's see if this is even possible. So, Newton was originally talking about time travel and said that it's like shooting an arrow. It's a straight line, doesn't end. It just goes in a single path. Well, Einstein comes in with relativity and says, well, no, that's, not quite how it could go. You can poke holes in this and you can curve it and bend space and time. And so in theory, time travel would be possible. So supposedly there was I'm trying to find it. There was actually a theory that Einstein had that they supposedly had cracked the code to. Now, there's rumors that Tesla and Einstein had both been working on this Philadelphia experiment and helped crack this code to where they could actually teleport through time and space and make this possible. So,
well, was he one of the accounts I read on a neighboring ship that was supposedly next to the Eldridge, another USS vessel? Supposedly Einstein was aboard it, watching this experiment take place. Am I wrong?
I have read that. I don't know if that's been, been proven or anything. There a lot of,
sure,
of course, all of this is just speculative when you go around and reading through. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, you can obviously connect the dots to Einstein, like you said, his theory of relativity, and of course he'd be interested in something like this. But yeah, the time frame fits and his research fits, so the dots can be connected. But yeah, I guess I'd really be interested to know if he was actually involved with this project.
So, and a lot of it just goes back to his theory. So I don't know if he is or not. Like, I don't think anybody will ever know that. It'd be cool. It'd be it'd be really badass if we were like, oh my god, Einstein did do this.
Well, I mean, some of this, what stuff was he involved with that we will never know about? That'd be more interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So a couple of guys on this ship. Here's probably the first. I don't know. This is probably the craziest story of them all, and this will probably take up a good chunk of our time.
All right.
Real quick, I did just find it. So Albert Einstein, if you want to look this up, it's the unified field theory is what they were using to supposedly time travel or teleport.
What now is that basically? Am I wrong in assuming that's more like a layered theory, as in you can travel through space and time via layers and or dimensions, if you will?
Yeah, but I think it has more to do with how do you like physically how do you make that happen? So,
Okay. Transportation of physical matter.
Yeah, exactly. And how physically you make that, the in front of you more dense, behind you less dense, and then hit that speed of light or however they're gonna do it. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, so there were two gentlemen. Now this gets really confusing. Follow me. Gentleman named Ed Cameron and Duncan Cameron. And Ed is also known as Al Bellick, I think is how you pronounce it. And that's probably what most people would find his name if you look him up. And this goes into the Montauk project. So Montauk is the little town where I had mentioned Camp Hero at the beginning of the podcast is located. So in Montauk, New York, where this little fake farm town that's actually a military base is located, he claims him and Cameron, I believe it was, or Duncan, yeah, him and Duncan Cameron had jumped off in the middle of the Philadelphia experiment because they saw it was going haywire. They're like, something's wrong. Okay. This isn't what's supposed to happen. Abandon ship. And they go to jump off. So depending on where you look this up and where you read it, they either jump off and come to shore in 1983, 40 years in the future.
What?
Yep. Supposedly they come into Montauk, and the guy that was leading the research project in 1943 is still there 40 years later as an old man and says, I've been waiting for you guys for a long time, and explains the whole thing and what had happened.
What the hell? Okay. So, hang on. Let's just stop. Pump the brakes.
Pump the brakes. I knew this would get you going.
Yeah, so, okay. These are actual people. Like, these are verified, real people involved with this project. This isn't just a portion of the story that could be an urban legend. These are real people.
Real people, yes.
Okay, and we're talking about them jumping into the water, abandoning ship before the actual experiment happened?
So they claim during the experiment they thought it was going wrong, jumped ship in 1943.
Okay.
And when they washed up on shore, it was 1983.
Okay. And we don't have any, like, records of these people. Like, okay, like, the story's amazing, but you feel like that would be news. Like, especially for the 80s. Like, come on, like, movies are going sci-fi, and this wasn't a big story?
So
really?
It has been a big story in the past. This was covered by Art Bell.
That should still be a big story now!
Well, he died in 2011, the last guy who was still around. But he gave several interviews over the years of his experience and explaining his scenario. So, go ahead.
But, okay,
You're trying to digest this. I understand.
I am. I'm trying to digest it. But what baffles me here is, so we got these guys, like, they were verified people in 43. They disappeared for 40 years during this experiment. They're resurfacing 40 years later, 1983, and he dies in 2003. And this
2011.
or 11, excuse me. Sorry, got hung up on the
Facts
three.
right, yo.
Yeah, all right. You're right. Screw what I said. What do I know? But no, like, I just feel like this is like it's such a amazing claim that this should still be a news story right now. Like, come on, how do we not have it? Like, he disappeared, and then when he resurfaced, there wasn't like any procedures done to see why he hadn't aged in 40 years, or had he aged? How does this work?
Well, let me kind of run you through the life of Mr. Al Bielek. So, born in 1927, claims his first memories were when he was 9 months old at a family Christmas party. Odd thing about his memory is that he fully understood the conversations that were taking place around the piano at 9 months old.
Okay. That's not uncommon. Some people, yeah, I've
Sure.
heard of people making claims like that. Yeah.
Through grade school, Al was known as a walking encyclopedia. Before graduating high school, he took an electronics test and was the only one to pass. The Navy needed help with like him during the war years and recruited him. Let's see. He did different contract jobs for the military. Let's see. He worked on psychic operations for the U.S. government, supposedly.
Okay.
After that, things started to happen. Now, don't get too ahead of me on this timeline here because we're going to come back to this. It jumps ahead. While in Hawaii in 1956, he had a brief encounter with who he believes now to be Mark Hamill, the actor in Star Wars. Soon after, he was recruited into the Montauk Project. He would work his normal job in California and take the underground subway to Montauk, Long Island to carry out his duties there. After the time tunnel was perfected, he would simply be teleported to the underground base and return back to his apartment. During the 70s, he was a program director for the psychics or physics.
Wait.
No, it's psychics.
Time. There's a time tunnel?
Yep.
Hang on. No, you can't just gloss over that. I mean, I let you go when you mentioned Luke Skywalker.
Yes, he met Luke Skywalker.
He meets Luke Skywalker, and then you just gloss right over that, and you try to gloss over the time tunnel? What? Okay, what is a time tunnel? Hang on.
There's a reason I'm just glossing over this, because these fantastic claims don't end.
Okay.
So there's this Montauk. He was a psychic director for this Montauk chair, which then they refer to the Montauk Boys, which supposedly was a government testing and manipulation of children in time travel, which gets weird and creepy. But no, never. So he was responsible for a mind control program. Regular contact with not only Duncan Cameron and also at Preston Nichols, who was the person who kind of supposedly blew the lid off this whole thing back in the early 90s and kind of came public first. And they actually made a movie about this in 84. So maybe that was Preston. I'm not sure. We can look that up just to be
positive. Okay, yeah. When I was doing research, I did see the, like, yeah, 1984.
There was some like, shitty low-budget movie about this, but...
Yeah, I kind of want to watch it because those are usually like the best of the worst movies.
Yeah. And then so in the 80s, when the
push it to the limit.
Oh,
come on, what you cannot tell me you don't have that pulled up at the ready for this. We're talking time tunnels and teleportation, and you don't have safety not guaranteed at the ready. All right.
You better get it pulled up, buddy.
All right.
In the 80s, when the time control programs were in operation, supposedly Al had participated in time travel experiments. Both him and Mr. Duncan Cameron traveled to Mars on several occasions. He also remembers several trips where he...
What?
Yeah. Hold on. I'm not done, man.
Dude! How are you glossing over this and we're not...
There's so many. We can go back to any of these. Calm down.
Mars.
Are you still taking this serious?
I was trying to.
Okay,
let me just flip that switch off.
Yeah. Let me get through this. This is painful.
Time tunnel to Mars. Wait, what year at Mars? Because that's got to be important. Was it before we left Mars as a species after we destroyed the planet and came to Earth to ruin it?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's dig deep in this rabbit hole.
Yeah, there too. I'm sure. He also remembers several trips he took with his teams to a research station in 100,000 BC, other planets, to get canisters filled with light and dark energy, and to the year 6037. In January
say that again.
He traveled to the year 6037, supposedly.
6037. What did he say about 6037?
I'm curious. I don't know. It doesn't say on here. Anyway, again, in January 1988, after
were weapons provided, or did he have to provide them himself? Safety's not guaranteed. Okay. We'll just keep that if they're ready.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pump that up.
We're gonna need that again. We just have.
Yeah.
So.
Holy shit, man! 6037. I wonder if the dinosaurs thawed out and Walt Disney was riding them on a monkey body.
Oh, probably was. January 1988, 4 years after the movie came out, he finally seen the Philadelphia experiment, and all of a sudden his memories had returned. He believes his involvement with the Montauk ended with that revelation. Over the time and through meetings with Preston and Duncan and many others, and more memories returned. Ironically, just after the memories returned, Dr. John von Neumann, which was the one that I mentioned was in charge of Philadelphia experiment, and then that had witnessed him 40 years later, supposedly tried to get in touch with him. Fun fact, John von Neumann is believed to have died back in 1957. Let's move on. This dead guy tried to get in touch with him. He had promised he made to Ed Cameron, should his memories ever return.
Well, apparently timelines don't mean shit in this story. So
I'm gonna draw this out for you. You're gonna. This is a headache. This thing is a fucking headache.
All right, great.
So he made the decision to go public with the information about his involvement in Montauk and Philadelphia experiment in 1989. He has been a prolific speaker on both talk radio shows and conferences. He believes he has not been harmed or stopped because his time-traveling experiences locked him into this timeline somehow. By being here today, among others, they serve to balance the effects they produced from prior time-traveling experiences. An experiment.
Yeah, open it up. Open that limit up. So he got into contact with a dead guy, and I know that was one of the big things that a lot of the research I'd seen shit all over was, never mind, this guy died here, and he tried to talk to him here, and he was successful. And what the...
So here, you want the craziest part of this guy.
Oh, we haven't gotten there yet.
Nope, sure haven't. So let's talk about Ed Cameron, totally different gentleman.
Okay.
Born August 4th, 1916. This gentleman also involved with several government programs and other things, and apparently knew Dr. John von Neumann, apparently worked on experiments with Albert Einstein when it comes to the nuclear bomb, and
there it is, the Einstein connection.
Project Rainbow. Now, this is weird. I'm trying to find the exact line here. So through all their experiments, it talks about how he kind of knew too much. And let's see, he was taken on to Montauk August 12th, 1953. But then, since he knew too much,
he got suicided.
Kind of. Supposedly, they went back in time.
Oh, shit.
Talked to his father, to have another child so they could take Ed Cameron's soul and place it into this new child, which became Al Balick, the guy we just spoke of.
Okay, so not only have we perfected time travel at this point, we have also figured out how to transfer souls into new bodies.
I've perfected shitting on a conspiracy within 5 minutes of a podcast. That's what this is turning into.
Well, I like to usually save our assumption and our final thoughts on what we think it's hearsay or not, but that's kind of hard to ignore. I feel like maybe there'd be an app for soul transfer by now if that was actually real story. I feel that'd be in the Apple Store, Google Play, like, hey, you know, I'm tired of this body. I think hey, let me Snapchat you and send my soul into your head. And what the hell? Like, this is really a portion of this story.
So, in his time travels, Al...
I love how you're just staying stone-faced about it.
Al regressed back into Ed during some of his time travels. So he became his prior self in some of these and saw life through his former soul, if you will, and traveled to 2137. Yeah. So he went to 2137. Supposedly there's magic flying cities at this time. And I believe he spent 2 years there before Cameron came and rescued him and brought him back to 1983. Yeah.
What kind of vessel are they using to jump through time?
They're just jumping off ships, man. That's all they got to do. It's just, if you're on a boat, fucking jump off and you'll be in 2137 all.
Okay, yeah. So there's no like cool like DeLorean. There's no telephone booth.
No,
like
just magic.
Okay, that's disappointing.
So from the year 2137, Ed Cameron, who is actually Al, but he's living through Ed Cameron, who is his prior self, travels alone to 2749 for a 2-year period. He was a tour guide and remembers floating cities built with anti-gravity technology and a society run by computers. The programmers of these cities, called Wingmakers, had several meetings when they were explained their agenda and what was going on. But after 2 years, Ed had to go back to the year 2137.
I would like to know. Okay, I would really like to know how
the timeline of him and him.
Okay,
they coexisted apparently for a few years.
Well, yeah, that doesn't poke a hole in anything, or no, that's perfectly logical. So, oh my God, so many questions. Where do you start? Okay, so jumping between, I mean, we're talking like thousands of years of time travel, back and forth, up and down, transferring of souls, and how is any of this even being reported?
Okay, so I'm kind of glad we just jumped right into shitting on it, because here's the problem. Here's the problem with these conspiracies. Now, you know, in some of these that we've done in the past, Tony, like I don't know. I don't always dig in as deep as I did on this one. I've heard this one on several other podcasts. I've heard this one on TV shows. I've heard this one all over the place. Not a damn one of them talked about him going to the year 2137.
So you're saying there's a loophole, maybe? There's some untouched information somebody's forgetting?
So with just spending, you know, a few hours actually, you know, looking up the names of the two guys that jumped off a ship, like, I'm like, hey, if two guys jumped off of a ship in 1943 and teleported 40 years into the future, I'm sure somebody would have their names. Somebody would know who they are. And then I could
Yeah.
and I look them up, and this is what I find. These guys were nut jobs.
No, I think it just proves that their story's real, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be that creative. Surely this is all factual.
Yeah. I just...
Holy crap. Okay, so what'd you say, 6137? They went to, or he went to?
They went to, like, so many different time frames.
Okay. For what, though? Like, you're just saying they went there and came back. There was no reason.
No, well, shit, if you could time travel, pick a date. Just go. I guess if I could, I would. I'd just be like, hey. And so the time travel, like, fantasies out there and people that claim to have time traveled, you'd be surprised how many people claim to have gone to the future or gone to the past. There's one that claims he went back in time, found Jesus, and got a vial of his blood.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was a giver, so why not?
He just wanted some wine.
Yeah. You don't get finer wine than that, right from the tap, man.
Yeah. So that's good shit right there.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Stick that in a wine cellar. You could really host some impressive parties that way. Holy crap. Okay, so, like, but if I was going to do it, I don't think I would jump 5,000 years into the future. I think I'd do it, like, 10 years at a time, so I knew what I was kind of jumping into, so I could kind of see evolution of where society was and not be shell-shocked upon arrival and go, holy crap, I'm in the gopher living in anus dimension reality year 6372. I mean, you want to know what you're going into, right? Like, you can't just jump blind. Doc Brown would be so disappointed in these guys.
Doc Brown would be. So, I don't know. So, it starts off as a cool story of government doing experiments, and it starts
off, the story that we're touching plausible. On. That's right.
It starts off plausible, but, like, we skipped over a lot of it just to get to the what the hell moments of it. In the middle, there likely is some truth to parts of this. So, the government...
Yeah, the actual experiment itself, the actual vessel teleporting, that whole thing we were starting with.
So, yeah. Let's go back to the ship, the Eldridge. So the place where it supposedly had arrived and materialized and then disappeared and went back to Philadelphia, it was actually down a channel that was travelable, like, within a day. You could get there and back in a day, so it very likely could have been in two places in that same day. And
yeah, it was Norfolk, Virginia, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. So it wasn't a terribly long distance. This is something totally possible that they could have just made the trip and logged the ship in both places.
Right, but we're talking about a day or so trip, and this was a matter of minutes, supposedly, that this teleported back and forth between. So my initial question is it not entirely possible that they just got the name of the ship wrong?
It could be. Somebody could have wrote it down, but did they have timestamps? Did they actually log, like, the ships showing up and leaving and arrival and departures?
Mm-hmm.
There's none of that information available, so it's all speculative, and there's
how is there not any of this documentation of this anything? There's no documentation of any of this happening, so that's where I was initially skeptical, and then that rabbit hole will just hang on. But then the other stuff that happened during this experiment, supposedly there was the ship itself got somewhat transparent, translucent, and there was a green haze on the ship surrounding it.
Yeah, and I've watched some physicists actually saying how that is possible if you're actually doing a magnetic, like, electronic, like, charging of the ship, and depending on the weather conditions and the atmosphere and the humidity, blah 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 blah. I don't know. I'm not that damn smart.
Something about specific type of storm could create a plasma something effect.
That's not unheard of, and you might be able to recreate that in certain scenarios.
Okay. So I guess what really the documentation, who was on the crew, what happened to these people, the fantastic stories of not the crazy time travelers, but the rest of the crew, like the ones that were fused into the ship. How is there no photographic evidence of this? Or
what, a Google search of fake images wasn't good enough for you?
I'm sorry, you're right. I probably should learn to trust Google image search a little bit more.
Here's the bad part. In the year 2137, somebody's going to listen to this podcast and been like, these assholes. This guy was right. I remember seeing him. And we are living in the same city.
I hope that we are a big time deal in the year 2137, that they listen back to our show and go like, man, these guys shit all over it, but this is real.
Yeah.
Hey, future people.
Assholes, no.
Yeah, they didn't know shit back then. My God.
Yeah, you got like an earthquake going on in that place.
Well, at least we got documentation of it. What the?
Somebody's being murdered in Tony's house.
No, my kids are like sleep deprived today, so they're like crazy wound up, about to pass out. Just ignore it. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. That's the best way to go about it. So you got your Jameson tonight?
Yep, you betcha. I filled my glass with ice and headed down here and started talking insane time travel and space-time continuum theory with you. This is fantastic for a Sunday night.
Yeah. Well, I'm appropriate. I got my Oktoberfest.
Yeah,
it's October.
Right.
I'm not traveling through time. I am sticking to October and appropriate beers for October. So
I'm surprised you're not partaking in Joe Rogan's Sober October.
I could. I don't know if I want to.
How's that working for you? Were you trying to put the hat over top the headphones?
Yeah,
there?
I was gonna try it. It doesn't work.
I'd say it didn't look like it went well.
No, it didn't.
For those of you listening on Spotify, I just thought I'd convey what I was watching.
Yeah, thanks, Dick.
You're welcome.
Oh.
I was gonna say I have noticed I've been listening to Rogan's podcast here this last week, just because I've had a lot of window time, and
well, that's crazy, dude. You ever tried DMT?
No, but I want to now.
I know, right? Everybody wants to try some DMT.
I know he sold me on it in one 5-minute portion of a podcast
when he was telling you how terrified he was. And you're like,
no, that wasn't it.
Try.
No, he was talking to Dan Aykroyd about it, and it was very interesting. I was like, wow, this sounds fantastic. Why doesn't everybody do DMT? And then Dan Aykroyd's like, yeah, I was like 15, and I tried DMT. Oh, how'd you do it? Did you do it like this? Did you freebase? Oh, a friend gave me a pill. Yeah, you didn't do DMT. Oh, I didn't? No, that's not how you do it. Oh, well, he said it was.
Yeah, it was LSD, probably.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Joe assumed. I mean, he is the expert. But I was going to say, I've noticed so many comparisons. Like, I could tell you have logged a lot of hours listening to Joe just on your delivery.
Right. Yeah. So I started watching shit. He was like episode 800. I started hitting the road working this new job.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I got a lot of hours of Mr. Rogan in.
He's almost on like 1,400 now, I think.
Most of them are 2 to 3 hours long. Yeah, I got a lot.
I was gonna say, yeah, I that's the first thing I noticed. I'm like, holy crap, these are all like 2.5 hours long. Holy shit. Yeah, you got to listen to that Dan Aykroyd one. That was pretty good. Dan Aykroyd.
I got a lot of hours to drive this week. It's loaded up on my phone, ready to go when I hit the road this week. So.
Yeah, that one's good. Like Dan Aykroyd is like balls deep into UFOs, ghosts, all sorts of different. It's crazy, but I mean, he's very. I don't want to call it accepting of skeptics, because he pretty much ignores all the skepticism Joe throws his way, and he stands his ground. And I kind of like that. That's refreshing to see. But yeah, like he's very intelligent and factual when it comes to first-hand account history. Like the very first people who were supposedly abducted by UFOs, he's very knowledgeable about their first-hand accounts and the history of it. So it's very entertaining.
So, yeah, I'm trying to. He was in Ghostbusters.
He was Bonnie and Bonnie Hill, I think was the name. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the recent movies he was in. I'm looking it up here, but like,
He hasn't done a lot of movies in a while.
looks like Ghostbusters 2020. He's going to be in.
Yeah, they after the colossal failure that was the all-female Ghostbusters, I think they're getting most of the cast back, plus the girls, and they're going to do kind of a collab from the sound of it. So that'll actually be pretty good.
Good. I'm not sure. It looks like he did a cameo in Zombieland Double Tap. I haven't seen that yet.
Ah, I am looking forward to that one. Bill Murray was fantastic.
If you kill off
in the
Bill
original.
Murray, you better, you get a Ghostbusters theme going. You better kill off Dan Aykroyd, I guess.
Yeah, all right, we got that to look forward to.
I don't see a whole lot else.
Yeah, he doesn't. I think he mostly does like writing, producing now. I don't think he does a lot of acting anymore.
It's probably good. He's got a long list though. Like he was in a lot of shit.
Oh, he's in everything. Like, yeah, he started a long time ago. So yeah, he's got a pretty long resume. But he spent like the first 20 minutes of that podcast talking about his Crystal Skull vodka.
So, Love at First Sight, 1977.
Wow,
That was his first film.
And of course, Blues Brothers. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's just classic as hell. And he was in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Holy crap! I guess I didn't realize that. He was
a cameo in that one.
Oh yeah, cameo. Go figure. I haven't watched that in a while, but yeah, I didn't know he was in that. Which yeah,
there's a lot of these I've never heard of.
I wonder what his thoughts on the most recent Indiana Jones is then, because he was really knowledgeable about the Crystal Skull, stories. Which those are mostly total bullshit, but the way he talks about it, you'd think it was completely factual. It's very convincing.
I was giving you shit about him being in Coneheads. He was also seriously.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, no, like that's what I mean. Like he's had I think 3 or 4 first-hand accounts of seeing UFOs himself. He says, and it kind of stemmed from his interest in it. Stemmed from I don't think his mother was abducted, but I think she saw something, and then she started doing like newspaper clippings and stuff like that, so he got interested in it. And then supposedly, like they lived, I think, on a farm, and they had like a personal psychic for the family because something weird happened on the farm, and yeah, it went deep. Like he's had a deep history of paranormal stuff, so very knowledgeable about it and very convincing. So yeah, you're gonna enjoy it.
Sounds fun. Sounds good. There's a bunch of those on there. Who's the dude from Blink 182? Like a UFO researcher claims that the government's paying him to do a bunch of this research. He sounds nuttier and shit, but like it sounds like everybody says he's credible and that this shit's real what he's doing. But
yeah, well, I mean. But that's how we've gotten the flat earth theory, like convincing sounding people, convincing gullible people. So, yeah, you want to believe these people. You want to, because they sound so passionate and convincing, but damn, you still got to step back and be like, oh, man, I don't know. Have you really been to the year 6377? Because I don't know. I don't know.
Yes, I have.
Did you really send your soul into somebody else, into your father's new child? Did you really do that? Maybe.
So it's Tom DeLonge. So here it is. I'm looking at.
Sorry. I can't not play that.
You just got to work on your timing. I love it.
I know.
Timing.
I got bad service down here, so every time I hit the button, I got to hit it like 6 times. I wanted it to be so punctual, and it wasn't.
So anyway, back to so it's Tom DeLonge. He's the guy from Blink 182.
Like,
So I got it pulled up here on the screen. Tom DeLonge's UFO video is acknowledged by
okay.
Navy as unidentified aerial phenomenon because they don't like UFO anymore. It's UAP, is what we're gonna refer this to.
Well, is that just because everybody assumes that UFO just instantly means alien, so we had to change the terminology?
I don't. Does it matter? Does it change anybody's thoughts on it? You can call it whatever. You can call it a penis. I wouldn't.
Well,
You make
the
any
term
acronym you want. It's
UFO,
still the same goddamn
yeah,
thing. When you
it is,
say
it
out
is,
the
but
acronym as a what would they say? An unidentified aerial phenomenon. That sounds worse than unidentified flying object.
right, but like people just assume like that's just the stigma that goes with that acronym. So I assume that's what we're trying to do with making a new acronym.
Anyway, so he got some acknowledgement for some of his
Okay,
claims and videos that he's pushed
I'm
out there. So he's
huh.
getting some traction. Tom DeLonge's not completely crazy.
Take off your pants and jacket.
What? What? Yeah.
That was her album.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just can't not think that when.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I'll shut up.
Let's see. He also quoted saying, "If I played Blink 182 to aliens, they would get really offended and start an interplanetary war." So, nice
Wait a
little
minute.
promotion there.
I'm gonna blow your mind for a second. His song, What's My Age Again, was directly inspired and written by the guy that had his soul transferred into his half-brother's body and time traveled, met him, helped him write that song, and then time traveled back.
Well, they wrote it in 2137, didn't they?
Well, yeah, they went to the future to write it, and then he dropped him off on the way. They went through McDonald's, probably got some Szechuan sauce, and then he went back. Like, I think that's how it went down. Like, that makes the most sense.
And then Marty McFly did what? He produced the album, or
No, no, Biff Tannen did, because he took the Gray Sports Almanac, made his millions, and then, but the Divergent timeline, wait, no, I'm getting confused.
where's Keanu Reeves in all this? I'm just seeing greed numbers and letters going up and down right now.
Well, he's the one that'll save us all. I mean that's just accepted. Doesn't matter what year, he'll be around. He doesn't age.
So is he going to be Neo, or is he going to be what's the new?
No, Bill and Ted save us
Oh,
here because
shit.
they're the time travelers. I thought there was supposed to be a new Bill and Ted movie coming out.
Yeah, they've been talking
like
about it for a couple years now.
5 years, yeah, and still
I'm looking forward to it.
But no, apparently we're gonna get a fourth Matrix before we get the Bill and Ted reboot. Because we needed the Matrix 4.
Is the Wachowski sisters gonna make it now?
One of them. I think one of them is returning to do this.
What's the other one doing? Is the other one still a guy, or is he?
No, they both transformed into women, and I think they both still are.
Oh dear God.
I don't know. But yeah, we have to make the Matrix 4 because nobody asked for that, and call me crazy, but didn't everybody frickin' die at the end of that?
Yeah, but it's just a cycle of many times that they've all died. So you can die again, I guess, and start it all over.
Well, yeah, like the one, but it wasn't necessarily said that it was the exact same people, recycled over and over. Well, I always assumed it was just.
Well, that's convenient because then you can just change your actors around, and whoever the.
But they're not. It's Keanu Reeves and whoever the hell the chick was that played Trinity, and then Morpheus, Lawrence Fishburne. I don't even think he's in it. So the one guy that lived out of the main three, he's not in it, but Neo and Trinity are, and they both died.
Makes total sense to me.
Wait, sorry, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Revolutions yet.
Oh, shit. People haven't seen it yet?
Well, some people like to forget they saw it.
Oop. All right. So since we touched on transitioning,
that's a segue.
Yeah, nice little segue. Did you watch any of the news clips from? So CNN. Oh my God, they keep doing these town halls with these presidential election Democrats, and There's just gold every time they do stuff like
I have not perused any of this, no. So
I will show you. This
great.
There's some magic in here. Some of it's dumb, but there is.
So this is how you're gonna plug the holes of my blown mind from earlier with this shit.
Yeah, I gotta fill it with. Okay, that stupid time travel non-fact. Oh, this is a real.
You don't know.
This is a real.
You don't know that's not factual. We're just assuming.
Cue the music. Just hit it.
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
Okay, well, we're gonna go back to the present here, so you can see what real life is like right now. Okay.
Okay. I wasn't ready.
Now back to 2019.
Oh God.
Anna, thank you guys. And my pronouns are she, her, and hers.
She, her, and her. Mine too.
All right.
All right, first question for the night.
To validate the pain of our...
I'm just gonna pause that. Did you hear him?
Yeah.
Mine too.
Like, I assume he's never talked to a woman before in his life.
Yeah, Chris Cuomo and Kamala Harris on stage at a town hall for LGBT. And yeah,
she could have come up to him and said, "Gosh, I'm having such horrible menstrual cramps." He would have been, "Yeah, me too. I don't know what to say."
Well, okay, so she's pandering to the crowd and has to list her pronouns because, as if anybody imagined Kamala Harris was anything other than a she, her, and whatever. But yeah, his answer. If I said that answer. Like, if Trump said that answer, if he responded that way, whoa!
Oh yeah.
But no,
oh man.
What was it? Frito? Yeah, it's Frito's response, so he can say whatever he wants. So anyway,
all right,
we'll go again.
How are you? Anna, thank you guys. And my pronouns are she, her, and hers.
She, her, and her. Mine too.
All right.
All right, first question for the night.
It goes deathly silent.
Gender siblings that demonstrated earlier and that have spoken up today, especially Black trans women.
I don't want to take this away from you, but let me tell you something. Black trans women are being killed in this country, and CNN, you have erased Black trans women for the last time. Let me tell you something.
As I know you are aware.
Oh.
Black trans women.
They're just yelling at themselves over and over. Like, I don't understand what they're doing. Just grandstanding and yelling at themselves.
Oh no.
We'll continue.
Go.
Are dying. Our lives matter. I'm an extraordinary Black trans woman, and I deserve to be here.
I don't know. I think they're trying to say Black trans lives matter. Oh, you can't say guys. You can't say guys, by the way.
Relax.
My Black trans sisters that are here, I am tired. I am so tired. I'm just sitting there, and it's not just my Black trans women, it's my Black trans brothers too. And I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say.
Just come here. No, I just want to ask you something. Come here. Tell me. Come here. I want you to talk. What's
You
your
don't love
name?
the name.
I'm Blossom C. Brown.
Blossom. Let me ask.
Google me.
Blossom.
Please Google me.
Blossom. Thank you.
And next, Secretary Castro, I want to bring in Shay Diamond, a singer-songwriter from Los Angeles. She currently supports Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Shay, what's your question?
It's Shea Diamond.
Shea Diamond.
Put that on the record.
Okay.
Here you go. You're gonna
On
love
the
this.
record. Thank you.
Yes, honey, it's violence to misgender or to alter a name of a trans person. So,
Oh, for God's sake.
Yes, it is violence to misgender or mispronounce somebody's name. If you're trans, probably not
For
if you're anybody
God's
else. Just if
sake.
you're trans, it's violent.
Lady, I have
How do
I have
how do your
so-
hoes feel from that previous story? They penetrated now.
Oh my god. Okay.
Okay. All right. Minute left here.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it.
Always get that right.
Oh, I
first.
bet.
This is from your LGBTQ plan, and here's what you write. This is a quote. Freedom of religion is a fundamental right, but it should not be used to discriminate. Do you think religious institutions like colleges, churches, charities, should they lose their tax-exempt status if they oppose same-sex marriage?
Yes. There can be no reward, no benefit, no tax break for anyone or any institution, any organization in America that denies the full human rights and the full civil rights of every single one of us. And so as president, we're going to make that a priority, and we are going to stop those who are infringing upon the human rights of our fellow Americans.
The reason that we're here is to validate people like you. That is why we're giving, but that is why we're here. Okay, but yeah. Hang on, we can't hear you. Blossom, we can't hear you. Here, Blossom, we can't hear you.
Baby, your actions have to speak louder than words, because guess what? Not one black trans woman has taken the mic tonight. Not one black trans man has taken the mic tonight.
Yeah.
Show me.
Blossom.
Show me.
Blossom.
And I got to tell you, he's a great guy. I went in on Monday, and all the national press saying Biden's going to really get nailed when he walks in and sees the president in the morning. He got up, and he walked over to me. He said, "Well, you told me." He gave me a kiss. He leaned over. I swear to God.
What? Is that awkward enough? So yeah. Welcome back to 2019. Where do you want to travel to? What year?
1950
something.
So, like,
oh wow! All right, Blossom. Let me have it.
Like, okay, for starters, like, somebody was about to, like, say something halfway smart, right? And this person comes blathering through, steals the mic, takes the whole thing over. Then another one goes up and says, mispronunciation of a name is violence because I'm trans.
Mm-hmm.
Lady, I have my name mispronounced on, like, a daily basis, too, from all the phone calls I get trying to extend my warranty or get me Spotify or get DirecTV back up and running.
You know what? People put an I in my name, and it pisses me off. All right?
But that's not mispronunciation.
It's violence. I'm going to treat it like violence from now on. How about that?
Okay. We should probably go, flip cars and start riots because of the mispronunciation of our names.
So, I don't know. Why is it like this right now? Like,
it doesn't have to be. Like,
no shit, it doesn't have to be, but it is. Like, this is real.
It is.
This is a fucking problem right now, and it's fucking stupid.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's because we allowed gay marriage and opened the floodgates. Like,
no,
that's
not it.
No, but people want you to believe that. Like the same way that pot's a gateway drug. But
it's not.
It's not.
You're a weak person. You're just going to do drugs. So.
Yeah, it has everything to do with your addictive tendencies. That's what it is. That's individual to individual. But this is just a whole nother level. People are being misinformed that they can do whatever they want if they want to identify as something else. Like, basically, the lessons people are being taught now are, if you decide to identify as something different than what you were assigned at birth, you can basically do whatever you want, and you can cause a scene, and nobody will be able to tell you to stop, because that will offend somebody else who identifies the same way you do, and it'll start a whole thing. Like, that is the message we are sending.
It's like there's this crazy, weird contest to see who could be the most, be the most offended by stuff. And it's a never-ending battle to see how many things can piss you off, and why everything that pisses me off is so much more important than what pisses you off. And I get triggered by so many more things, so you need to do what I tell you to do. Like, it's a control mechanism. It's weird. It's just weird.
Did you just assume Did you just assume what pisses me off? That pisses me off.
Well, good. I'm glad I pissed you off because you're not listening to how I'm pissed off. Maybe you should listen
I don't think you're
more.
listening to me.
You should listen more. Don't tell you. I shouldn't be telling you what to do because you're telling me how to act. So now I'm really pissed off.
You're assuming that I don't identify as a person that agrees with your plight and agrees with you being pissed off. So that should piss me off, which should piss you off at yourself.
You can shut the fuck up.
Hey, you should just be pissed off at yourself because that's what I'm telling you to do.
It's just it's like a bunch of kids just screaming at each other, and nobody's being a responsible adult right now.
There it is. There it is. Like, nobody remembers that, hey, we're all people and we're all susceptible to making mistakes, but we're trying to be accepting of you, no matter how weird it is, and you still feel the need to get angry and act like a child. Because that's the way to do it. That's the human thing to do.
And I think everybody wants to gloss over, and I don't know a lot of people that are transitioning. I don't know a lot of people that are going through anything similar to what we're seeing. And when you look it up, it's like less than 1% of the population is doing a transition or feels misgendered. And so, yeah, when it comes up, it's not in our scope a lot of times. And 99% of Americans, it's not in their scope because they don't have a lot of people around them that are going through this problem. Now there's when it does pop up, I don't know. I'm glad I'm seeing it on TV way ahead of time. Way to go, California. Thanks for getting ahead of the game and letting us all know what the hell we got to worry about. But like when it pops up, I'm probably not going to be weirded out about it like they probably assume I would be. Do what you want to do. I don't care. You're not bothering me. Yeah, I'm sorry if I look at you because you are dressed different and you're acting different and you got a big old Adam's apple and wearing a dress with some big old tits. Okay, that's odd in my world because I don't see that every day. So I apologize that is like, I'm like, what? Like, it might be something that I'm not mad. I'm not
forgive me for having to do a double take.
Yeah, forgive me for going, did I see what I think I seen? But what is...
You're not going up and beating them with a 2x4 because you disagree with their choice or what they identify as. You just
I don't even
made a quick...
Yeah, I'm trying to make my own identification at that point. I'm just seeing what's going on. Like, what is so damn wrong with... It's not disrespectful to go, wait, okay. It's not like I'm chasing after you and laughing or chasing after you playing music or doing anything weird. But that's how bad it's gotten. It's gotten to the point nowadays, too, to where you can't even hold a door open for a female because it's polite. Like, it's just so ridiculous. Like, just let people
you'd be accused of mansplaining by holding that door open.
And you know what? I'm going to hold the door open every damn time because I'm a polite person. I hold the door open for men, by the way. All right? So
damn right you do.
Piss off.
Yeah.
I do
too.
Hate this world sometimes. Like,
yeah,
there's so much hate out there.
No, it is. It's awful. You can't make any assumptions. You can't be polite without getting into trouble, and outrage is rewarded. And I think that's the worst thing going forward is outrage being rewarded. Getting offended is encouraged. It just gets worse from here. There's no solution. That's what all this outrage and offense leads to. No solution and just more misery for everybody. It just sucks.
Yeah, there's no good ending to it. That's the bad part.
No.
Oh, God.
Way to frickin'
Yeah, that was a buzzkill. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, thanks a lot. We were having fun here.
All right, let's get back to fun. What do you want to talk about? Jesus.
Oh, man.
Should we talk about Facebook Husker chats and some of those conversations?
I guess we can...
I was having fun with it. I'm not going to lie. Like,
do we even talk about the game?
All right, so real quick, I told you last week there's a lot of hype behind Minnesota, and this...
I still don't buy any of it.
I don't either, but
kidding.
We suck that bad that I was like, okay, you were blowing it off. Well, I didn't want to argue with you.
Okay. No, I blew it off because I still didn't know who we were going to have at quarterback, and we still didn't know until the day of. And obviously we had to play Vedral, which, like it or not, that did hurt us. Wandale goes out, not super early, but as soon as that happened, like, you could tell other guys on the team kind of started deflating. Like, I think that tells me more than anything, like, he's going to be a future leader in the locker room. I think a lot of the leadership kind of came from him and his production, so that hurt us. Obviously, and the snap wasn't as big of a problem, but the line was even worse than normal. It was a road game, it was bad weather, so there was a lot of elements here, but you can roll it all up into a ball and toss it out the window. The fact of the matter is, they just sucked. There was almost no redeeming quality on offense of this game. Defensively, they weren't great, but you were asking them to do a lot because, man, special teams and offense did the defense no favors in terms of field position and getting a break. Like, they were gassed after the first quarter. Like, you can only ask them to do so much. And, like, Spielman dropped, like, 3 punts on special teams. You can only ask a team to do so much. But, man, I expected it to be a lot closer. Minnesota really came with their A game, and hats off to them, but I still don't buy it. I still don't think, like, okay, they're going to play Wisconsin yet, and they're going to get steamrolled.
Oh, yeah,
they're not going to win the West. Yeah, they're not going to win the West. So all the 6-0 record, all the good hype they're getting right now, it's going to mean squat because they're not going to beat Wisconsin. They're not going to win the West. So it doesn't matter.
They could lose 5 games in the back half of their
yes.
season.
Honestly, okay, so they're 6-0 now. I'll say it now. 8-4 probably. 8-4.
I'm pulling it up here to see what they got for a schedule because it was not a pretty lineup for the rest of the year.
No, they have Wisconsin and Iowa yet, I believe, and
so let's see.
Probably another East team.
They got Rutgers, probably winnable. Maryland, probably winnable. But then they got Iowa, they got Penn State, they got Northwestern, they got Wisconsin. I could see them losing those last 4 games.
All right, no, I'd say 9-3 then. Northwestern they'll beat, Rutgers they'll beat, Maryland they'll beat.
I don't know. After you get beat up by Penn State and Iowa back to back, and then go to Northwestern, you never know what kind of injuries they have, but they're going to be demoralized after getting their ass kicked 2 weeks in a row like that.
So yeah,
they jumped them up
9-3 or 8-4.
They're ranked 20th now.
Good for them. It won't last. 9-3 or 8-4.
Yeah,
simple as that.
Yep, end of the year.
So no, I'm still not impressed. I'm not impressed, and they played a great game. But here's the thing: for some damn reason, every time we are going through a big rebuild, we get every team's best shot every frickin' week. I don't get it. Like, Ohio State hasn't looked better than when they played us. Minnesota has not looked better against a credible team than they did against us. Colorado has not looked better than they did when they played us. Illinois, we get every team's best shot. We have sucked for so long, yet people still see that frickin' white helmet with the red end, and they just, really want to smack this team around. I hate this team. So I guess we got that going for us.
Yeah, it's okay because it'll come back. It'll come back eventually. I had fun. It wasn't fun watching that first half of the game, but after halftime was over, kind of let it sink in. I'm like, no way we're winning this thing. The way we're playing, it'll take a miracle. And then when I saw Wandale Robinson, I haven't seen an update yet, but it looked like he broke his ankle. That looked pretty ugly.
It looked nasty.
It looked nasty. He could be out the rest of the year. We'll see what comes about that. But I don't know. I just started talking shit on Facebook after that and really trying to stir some shit up. And I was pretty impressed with probably 25% of anybody that was on the Facebook group. We're pretty consistent and halfway intelligent with their responses. The other 75%, on the other hand, were just like half of them you could tell were drunk because they couldn't spell anything.
Well, yeah, that's a given.
And then
you're talking about a 6:30 kickoff where we got beat 34-7. Yeah, of course they were all shit-faced.
Yeah. And then I was able to trigger. This was my favorite. Oh, yeah. I posted this, and Husker fans that thought we would win Big Ten are as delusional as her. Picture AOC crying, which immediately got this one gal to like try to start arguing with me, and I told her it was a joke, get over it, move on, and then immediately she like blocks me. No.
Well, yeah, because you sent me a screenshot of that, and you couldn't see.
I was like, what the hell happened?
She get booted? I'm like, no, I went to it. I'm like, no, she blocked you because I could still see her comments. Oh. So yeah, like you were doing a very successful job of trolling the pissed off fans. You had fun with it. Like me, I have a certain way I watch these games, and I like to get swept up in the game itself. I like to let my emotions get carried away. That's more fun for me. You know, I get my outbursts out of the way during the game on the Husker chat room and message boards. I let myself be overwhelmed by us sucking, and then when the game's over, I calm down pretty quick and I can think about it logically and rationally. But I like to get my frustration out during the game. I like to keep it, within the confines where it doesn't get out to the masses, though. Some of these people start thinking incredibly illogically and start delusions of grandeur or fire frost, let's leave. It just gets bad.
Yeah, and I think that's why I started doing the little trolling bit, because I was just like, yeah, you know what? These dumbasses aren't going away. All these couch coaches and people that, it's just with the dumbest thought processes out there. Yeah, and that's why I kept doing the, Vedril's not that great. Vedril's not that great. And man, people were still not hugging him through that game of, he didn't do that bad. No, he didn't. Okay, you're right. He didn't throw any picks. He didn't have any fumble. But he also didn't score a goddamn touchdown. He didn't throw a touchdown. He didn't run a touchdown. He didn't do shit. So
nobody could do shit.
So, yeah.
It didn't matter who started.
He didn't give the ball to them, but he didn't score. So, you know what? Hey, Adrian Martinez might have thrown a pick or two on a few games.
There's 6.
But how many touchdowns does he have? Does his touchdowns outweigh his turnovers? Yeah, they do. So, hey, if you wanted a level playing field, let's lay it out on the line. How many points does Martinez have versus Vedral? Okay.
You're also talking like 15, 16 games versus one.
Yeah,
game.
Well,
series.
Also Martinez played real teams. Vedral played Minnesota fucking Gophers. Okay.
Hey, no, you were singing their praise. They're undefeated.
No, I was saying our team sucks, and these guys got hype. And when you have hype and you go into this, you gotta watch out. And I think we underestimated him. I really think we did.
Well, that's got to have a lot to do with it.
We are a better team than Minnesota. We are, but we underestimated them. And the injuries didn't help. If everybody was healthy, I think we would have steamrolled in that game. But we've been demoralized.
I thought we'd win by a couple scores.
And Minnesota has been getting all these pats on the back and wanting to prove that, hey, we're actually a good team. So it was the perfect storm.
They took their hype and they backed it up. That's something we are not good at and haven't been for a while. But like it or not, like I said, I don't buy it. I think they'll finish like 8-4, maybe 9-3 at best.
I agree.
But this was their stadium. This was their weather. And we came in banged up and probably overlooked them a little bit, thinking this was going to be a win. And they shut that down immediately. I mean, they did what pretty much every team we faced has done, and they punched us in the mouth early, and they didn't stop punching us in the mouth. Like, they didn't let up. They're like, okay, they gave us an opening. Don't let it close. Keep punching them in the mouth. And they did that. They played defensively. Man, you'd swear we play Alabama every week. Like, the way a defense blitzes us and hits us, you'd think we're playing an SEC schedule every week.
Or we got a high school offensive line.
We do. It's both. Like, it's that bad. I don't care what you like. People are online saying like, "Hey, let's start burning shirts," and other people are like, "No need to do that with 5 games left." Well, you can do that with 4 games.
You can do that with 1 game left. Like,
Well, but the four games now, you don't have to burn a red shirt. They can play in the 4 games now. So we just got to endure one more game, let's say, and we can get these guys game experience. We need real experience next year.
Everybody's so worried about burning shirts. I honestly, we're gonna have to.
But you can do it smartly that won't affect your depth. Like, don't let some of these guys play in like the Maryland game.
What depth do we have? Like, what depth do you expect us to have in 4 years? By not burning shirts this year, what depth is that going to give us, really?
Well,
we have no depth right now. How do you, we have to build depth.
Because they're concerned about burning shirts. They're playing guys that shouldn't be playing, that were, cream puffs from the get-go when Frost came in and haven't gotten any better. So, yeah, they're probably trying to hold out down the stretch until we get to that nice 4-game window where, okay, now you can play a little bit. Now you can play a little bit. Let's get you some game time experience. And it won't ruin an entire year of eligibility for one game during a season that we're basically cashing in at this point. A lot of guys are, and it's clear.
Well, hopefully. So you're thinking we're going for the long game, gonna last.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to, because this is clearly not an experiment. Scott Frost is not an experiment. This was our end game. This was the goal. We got the coach we needed and wanted, so you can't experiment. Of course we're going for the long game. Like with Riley, yeah, fine. Experiment all you want. Because we all knew that even if he had a good record year in and year out, he wasn't going to be here that long. So what he did in hurting us, Frost is expected to turn it around immediately, which clearly isn't going to happen. So yes, play the long game. Yeah, it sucks that we're going to have to endure probably another year of this next year before year 4 when it starts to really show. Because you expect teams to show their biggest jump from year 1 to year 2, and that has not happened. I get it, we have as many wins now as we did last year. That doesn't tell me shit. Because last year we should have been 6-6, 7-5. That's how many close games we were in, and came up short on. So record doesn't tell me shit. I'm talking in terms of actual progress, and before the Minnesota game, the numbers, like the important ones, it was minimal. And I mean it, minimal, in terms of where the team ranks nationally, yards per carry, all the in-depth stuff. And it was minimal at most of those levels. And at quarterback, like, you expect a quarterback to improve in year 2. And like it or not, he regressed, whether it be some injury we didn't know about or a girlfriend that is in his head or whatever it is. He has regressed. He's not making better decisions. He's hesitating, and now it doesn't matter who we play at quarterback because the line sucks that bad.
Yeah. You never know. There's a lot to unpack there.
There is.
I don't know. We get a bye week, which we'll lose.
Yep. The bye week is going to play us tough, and it's going to be a hard one for us.
We're gonna get blown out by that bye week.
I feel like it. It feels like it's coming.
So yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens with Wan'Dale Robinson. Hopefully he gets healthier. Maurice Washington didn't look right.
No, he didn't look good at all. He looked like something was wrong too. So I am worried about running back at this point.
We just looked. The only one that did not look banged up was Moberry.
But he was getting trucked in areas.
Well, when he's the only one breaking through the line and making hits,
yeah,
you're gonna get wore out. He was the only one consistently I seen on every play and trying to make a play, even though he failed sometimes. You have a missed tackle or you fucking have a big hit that he didn't follow through with. Right. He was there. He was running his ass off the whole game. I didn't see anybody else doing that. I even seen the Twins slowing down towards the third quarter there, where they just, I don't know.
Before halftime,
yeah, it was rough.
I don't know. That's where I'm mostly disappointed is fundamentals, penalties, turnovers, and strength and conditioning. I seriously thought we were going to see a big jump in that department, and So far, no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I don't know. I would expect we're still going to make a bowl. Like I really have no doubt about it, honestly. Like we're going to beat Maryland. Purdue just beat them, and I think we can beat Purdue, Indiana. I mean, 7-5. Like that's going to feel so disappointing, but it's going to be a sigh of relief if we can get 7-5.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
If we don't go bowling, I am. I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be very disappointed.
Not winning Saturday puts it at risk now. Like
it does, but you can't tell me that there's no reason with the schedule we had this year, the way these teams have shaken out in terms of beatability
this year.
To get a bowl game, yeah, it should have been.
Because what was it next year or the year after that? Like it's murderer's row again. Like
yeah, we're gonna get put through a meat grinder again very, very soon. So this stuff has to start correcting itself.
We're gonna see an improved Michigan, an improved Michigan State. We're like they'll be better in a couple years.
Michigan State is cold 1 year and then hot for 2. Cold. That's cyclical. Like you can count on that for Michigan State. Michigan, I don't know. I have no idea what to expect with Michigan throughout this year and the next and the next. It was horrible to even be there. I don't know. And I'm really still, fingers crossed, Ohio State starts regressing because, yeah, as good as they are and as good as they've looked, long term, I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see. If that coach doesn't bring in the recruits, those like, he got blessed with some amazing recruits, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Getting a Ryan Day recruit. There it is. It's that simple. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We will see very soon.
What else you got? You got any news stories or anything you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah, I guess let's finish this up with a news story or two. I think I sent you one. Check your messenger. I'm pretty sure I sent you one that I had saved up for the other day and we didn't use.
I'm gonna find you here. There
It was the somebody got fired for something they put on Instagram. Pull that up.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Okay, got it out of my system.
Yeah, and then I sent you one too. We got a couple here. So real quick before we finish up this Husker talk, I do want to share a hilarious video that I sent Tony. So no matter how bad we played, at least we didn't do this.
Yet. I got it. Oh, truck this guy. Get it past. Oh. Yep, get it past him. Got to get past him.
The camera guy's like, where the fuck's he going?
I'm going. Come with me, bud. Yeah. Oh, shit, I tackled you. Oh. I love the reaction. I don't think
he even knows what the fuck he did.
He's like, oh, I can't believe they tackled me. Wait, why did you tackle me?
Oh, that's great. Good stuff. So, folks, just listen in. Guy intercepts the ball, but runs it the wrong way. And almost scores, and his teammate has to tackle him at the 5-yard line.
You have to get tackled by your own guy. That's amazing.
So Tony, I did not read this one, so you're gonna have to walk me through it.
Okay. So yeah, this is great. So we're in the day and age of Instagram model being a legitimate job, so that should come as a shock to nobody. 24-year-old left shocked when a company she'd applied to for an internship publicly shamed her by sharing one of her bikini photos on its Instagram account. Emily Clow, 24, from Austin, Texas, applied to the marketing company Kick-Ass Masterminds, which later posted her photo saying it was looking for a professional marketer, not a bikini model. So basically she was going to be hired, but they did a little social media digging and found a picture she put on Instagram that they thought was way too revealing. It's a bikini picture, but they don't like. Yep, that's the one. So basically, it's it's not a subtle bikini, and there's a lot of underboob.
Yeah, not side boob, underboob.
Underboob. So she Yeah, they posted this on their Instagram, and it says, PSA, because I know some of you applicants are looking at this, do not share your social media with a potential employer if this is the kind of content on it. I'm looking for a professional marketer, not a bikini model. Go on with your bad self and do whatever in private, but this is not doing you any favors in finding a professional job. So, first and foremost, okay, yeah, maybe she shouldn't have shared this with a potential employer, but the potential employer that decided not to hire her probably shouldn't have shamed her because of it.
Yeah, it's kind of a dick move, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Like, we're not going to hire you, and we're going to call you out because of it.
Yeah, there's plenty of, I'm just kind of going through, I got it pulled up here, some of the replies and comments that were made on here. A lot of them are just more the, oh, I'm sorry this happened to you, blah, blah, blah.
Dodged a bullet working for these pigs. You know,
I was hoping something funny. I bet they won't share it.
No, it's all supportive stuff, so no funny comments. We'll have to look at that up on our own, I guess.
Yeah. What would you said?
To who? The company or her?
Just, yeah. Either one.
I guess to the company I would have been like, hey, way to commit public suicide because you realize this is going to get you a ton of heat from the internet community. And I guess to her I would have said, nice underboob.
Yeah. Been like, so she's still available?
Hey, we could probably use a marketer on the Dog and Chicken Show.
Yeah, I bet that marketing would work pretty well on our show.
Yeah, hey. We need some more underboob besides our own.
Yeah, you don't want to see my underboob. Probably got some dirt.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, I got a little tit dirt.
Oh. Tune in next week for tit dirt.
Week for some tit dirt. Hey, by the way... speaking... Jesus. So, hey, so I don't have to call Zuckerberg the C word this week, by the way.
Okay, good.
I'm just not going to confirm my identity with Facebook.
No, and you shouldn't have to.
No, I shouldn't. But I was still able to promote my ad. Just had to change the picture and some of the words, and still was able to post my ad. And then I sent in a request to review my prior ad, saying that I did not violate any terms and I was not endorsing any candidate or anything or a political view or anything like that. And then I just got links to how I can confirm my identity. And then I replied and said, I can't confirm my identity. This is bullshit. Like I kind of went off there for a little bit. And they just kept sending me the same robotic ad. Here's what I actually wrote. This ad does not endorse any political policy or social issue. It is a link to a podcast in which we discuss those topics openly. Also, between confirming identity from phone or desktop, your links do not reference users to the correct pages. To confirm identity, To confirm identity from phone or desktop, your links do not reference users to the correct pages. It has been proving to be very painstaking. This is direct silencing of opinions, in my view, and done intentionally to police, in quotations, public opinion. I uploaded the same link and changed the title and description, and it got approved, ? So what exactly caused this to not be approved on the first ad? Was it the scary president picture or just the mention of culture war and politics? Let me know what words are now taboo on Facebook so I can navigate my page in adherence to your communist rules. Thanks. All I got was a bot response, of course.
Yeah, so apparently the best way to handle reports and feedback is with electronic automation response. That way you don't have to actually deal with anybody or listen to them, and you pretty much get off scot-free. If there's no way to interact, you can't get in trouble.
So, yeah, here's my ad page.
Yep, there it is.
Let's see. This ad was rejected. I'm trying
Yeah.
to look at a preview of it. Politics and Booze make for a long podcast. Obviously calling out its podcast. They just didn't like that I had the word politics, booze, or probably just politics, and then I had a picture of Donald Trump.
I think, yeah, the word politics, booze, and the Trump picture.
But the exact same link with just a really boring title and picture gets approved. A podcast with serious topics dissected. Just don't take it too serious, which is just kind of a weird little fun.
So yeah, there you go. There you go, folks. If you decide to use any Facebook advertising,
yeah,
you have to censor it because they will not approve it. Yep.
It's stupid. It's really, really stupid. I couldn't believe that.
It is. But
again, but the only way I can put Donald Trump's picture on even a cartoon picture of Donald Trump on an ad, I have to confirm my identity, which for any of you that really know me, I don't use my real name on Facebook. So they will never accept my confirmed identity anyway, because it doesn't match my driver's license. And why the fuck would I give Facebook my driver's license information anyway? Like,
yeah,
it's just weird.
Well, you should have used the picture of Kathy Griffin holding up the decapitated Trump head. They probably would approve that.
So I seriously think I might start doing like 5-minute little video snippets of what we talk about in these episodes, and purposefully try to just do like $1 ads to see what I can do and get away with if I did hard left versus hard right.
Yes. I like it. Social experiment with social media. Yes, let's do this.
I think it could be really, really fun. And like you said, do the Kathy Griffin with the Trump with his head cut off versus maybe Dan Crenshaw.
Yeah.
I bet Dan Crenshaw gets blocked.
There you go. I like it. Let's try this out. Let's see what Zuckerberg will let fly. And Zuckerberg.
I still want to call him the C word. I just need him to get me there. I'm close.
I used to say I thought we agreed last week that you would call him the C word this week.
That's if I didn't get my ad approved. I got my ad approved.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
About it, but I got my ad approved.
All right. So we will hold off.
But it's not
on
a very
that for another
enticing
time.
ad, so I only got. I told you get a couple hundred people look at it for a whopping 2 clicks. I had 230 people look at it and got 4 clicks.
Well, yeah, because it wasn't the picture of Trump.
Yeah,
it's a cartoon.
If it was the picture of Trump, I probably would have had a lot more clicks.
Yeah,
I was trying to be really smart with my advertising, but
you know what you should have used?
What's that?
Instagram underboob.
Oh no! Well, it's owned by Facebook, and Facebook wants my. You know what? Here's the fucked up part. When I did finally get the ad approved, it asked me if I wanted to put it onto Instagram, and it actually lowered my viewership if I did. Why would you ask me to lower my viewership on something I already don't get any engagements on? Like,
well, good question. No, I think you're onto something. I think we should definitely do that.
Let's keep fucking with it. Like this little segment, we'll cut out and do a little 5-minute clip just for fun. And throw it on
Perfect.
there. I won't give 2 shits. Yeah. In the meantime, Facebook is a shit show. YouTube's kind of been out of the news, but it still sounds like they're blocking a bunch of people and slowly removing channels without telling anybody. It's a terrible.
I'm sure we'll get there.
Terrible world right now. I'm looking for another platform to do this on, but nobody's any good at this.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get removed, I'm sure.
I'm surprised we haven't, but eventually, someday. I don't know. We're not big enough, so nobody cares.
Hashtag goals.
Yeah. Hashtag goals. Get kicked off.
All right.
All right. That wraps it up. Tony, last words?
Okay. It's just a great song.
Yep. This was I don't know. It was kind of a stupid episode, but I don't know. I enjoyed it. I had fun.
No, this is one of the best. We're getting better every week, damn it.
Yeah, we're getting more natural with it.
All right.
So, hey,
I'll take it.
Yeah, this conspiracy bullshit. Just calling it.
Yes. Yeah, Philadelphia Project. Yeah, man, you know what? No, forget the boat. The other stuff, bullshit.
Yeah, the other stuff's
But
bullshit.
yeah.
The boat might have happened. The boat's a real thing. Some of the people are real.
But
yeah,
the actual topic we talked about, I don't know. We're indifferent, but the other stuff, bullshit.
Yeah. For sure.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. Like, share, subscribe as always, and love you. Bye.